Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. So, another lockdown news update for you. First up, you remember I did a video the other day about the use of temptation, governments and organisations using incentives to tempt people to get the jab. Why they feel they have to do this, I don't know. We're in the middle of a deadly pandemic, didn't you know? But if you remember, I was talking about how in the USA ministers were offering cash and McDonald's were saying they would give you 4 hours of pay for free. Wow, so generous. And one state even offering a bag of marijuana as a reward if you got the jab. Well, now we've got ice cream. We all scream for ice cream. Russia's ice cream vaccine incentive. What's the price of a cornetto? I don't know. What is it? £2? £2? That's not much of an incentive. I thought the McDonald's offering a few hours pay was a bit shite. Now what, a cornetto? Here we have Russia's ice cream vaccine incentive. Moscow is one of the rare places faced with an oversupply of jib jabs, with few takers of its Sputnik V shot. The city is luring people with free ice cream. Here's a clip of the video.
In Moscow, they've got a different problem, getting people to participate. In one Tony shopping center on Red Square, the organizers have even tried to sweeten the deal by offering free ice cream to anyone who gets their shot.
What the feck is that? That's not a flippin' ice cream. That's an ice popsicle. That's as cheap as you can get. I was thinking it would be a whippy or a cornetto. No, it's just a skanky ice popsicle, a small cylindrical tube of frozen water with sugar. And that's used as an incentive? You're having a laugh. Russia, you're joining in with the clown world now.
The capital has over 100 centers around the city, offering the Sputnik V vaccine that was developed in Russia. Even so, the total number of people inoculated is less than comparable cities like London and New York. The low turnout may be because only 38% of Russians say they are willing to take the vaccine.
I think you're going to find that once you go down to the 50 plus age group, we are going to see less and less take up of the jab. It's easier to put the Project Fear onto the very old and convince them of getting the jab. But I think when you get to the younger people, I believe that they're not going to get the take up that they think they are going to get. And an ice popsicle, and they are really treating you like a kid. In other news, we had the jib jab minister getting interviewed on the propaganda BBC. There was one thing of interest for me from this interview, and it may be good news. Let's have a look at what he said about the passport on the Andrew Marr show.
Prime Minister of Greece has said that he would welcome people to come on holiday in Greece, but they will have to have some kind of vaccine passport to show they've been vaccinated first. Is that something that the British government is looking at, the idea of a vaccine passport specifically to allow people to come and go in the months ahead?
No, we're not. And there are several reasons why we're not doing that. One, vaccines are not mandated in this country, as Boris Johnson's quite rightly reminded Parliament. That's not how we do things in the UK. We do them by consent.
Consent? Is that right now? I don't believe this guy. Do you? I don't believe any of these people anymore. Especially when it comes to the passport. Michael Gove said this back in December. The government and other governments around the world, they've all signed deals in regards to the production of these passports. The UK signed a deal for these passports back in June last year, and they were detailed in the Operation Moonshot documents back in September. So I'm surprised he has said no. The only reason I can think of it is that they are pushing this health passport back a little bit because they're scared. Their social media analysts have been looking online and seen that a lot of people from all over with differing outlooks on the whole situation, generally, they don't want these fecking passports. So they are saying no for now. So that's a good sign in my opinion, in that again it shows that people power works. If you stand up against them, they back off. But I don't think this passport has gone away. No way, not yet. Here's another story where the mask of government officials slips. In the Metro and elsewhere it says Labour peer sorry after calling COVID the gift that keeps on giving. A senior Labour Party member who described the pandemic as a gift that keeps on giving for lawyers is said to be very sorry for his comments. Shadow Attorney General Lord Falconer discussed the legal effect of COVID and the ever-changing laws at a briefing for a city law firm. The Mail on Sunday reported. The newspaper added that the webinar took place last June and was about how the law has been changed by COVID, he said. This is a gift that keeps on giving. The law keeps on changing, keeps on getting more complicated, and it's always interesting, he said. This clearly shows you how these people think, and Tory MPs are picking up on this and using it to score points against Keir Starmer and all of that nonsense. Don't fall for that crap. They are all the same, and this clearly shows the way these people are. You know that old saying, never let a crisis go to waste type of strategy, that kind of thinking. To say that COVID is the gift that keeps on giving, clearly in regards to how solicitors and lawyers can get rich from the rules ever changing, and that situation enables people in power to put through laws based on emergency guidelines, clearly illustrates that the powers that be see this whole situation as something to exploit to get their own way. And then in other news, we have this article where a medical expert speaking for the government has said that restrictions on large gatherings are likely to be in place for the next few years. Now, this was in the Telegraph. It says here, Tim Spector, a professor of genetic epidemiology at King's College London, told Times Radio that he can't see us suddenly having another Cheltenham festival with no regulations again. He said, I can't see us having massive weddings with people coming from all over the world. I think for the next few years, those days are gone, he added. Professor Spector also suggested that basic infection control measures, including physical distancing, face masks and hand washing, should remain in place as they don't cost really anything to do. So this clown first says big gatherings, you can't see them happening for the next few years, and believes that masks, social distancing and hand washing should stay forever because they don't cost really anything to do. What about the cost to our humanity? What about the cost to our way of life? What about the cost to normal social interaction? And what about the cost to our psychological well-being? Who is this guy, Tim Spector? Yet another unelected expert telling everybody what they should be doing for the next 3 years. Oh, and look, what a surprise, Tim Spector. He is funded by Bill Gates. A surprise, yeah? Another King's College Bill Gates funded expert. Look, 1.2 million it says here. No surprise he wants to psychologically destroy humanity by not allowing the public to mingle or talk to each other for the next 3 years. I'm sick of these experts, these unelected scientists telling everybody how they should live their lives and how they want how they should all be locked up. It's these people who should be locked up and kept away from the public arena. They are not elected. They have not been voted for by the public. They should not be influencing policies, and they shouldn't be giving interviews and belching out their miserable recommendations to these tabloid newspapers to continue their agenda of Project Fear and Misery. I think you're going to find that the public will soon say, enough is enough. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to hugotalks.com so I can keep in contact with you if YouTube censor this channel in the future. And I'll see you later.